Do you actually have to be on cocaine to be on this podcast?
It's a great day to be a Wildcat!
Durfing.
Well, hello everybody. It's another great episode of Cocaine Willie coming live here from Dallas, Texas. Got Fireball Matt here. We got Chef. We got no Bob today, so it is absolutely going to be unhinged today. Let me tell you, we have no structure. We have nothing. We miss Bob though, but we thank everybody for giving us a listen today to Cocaine Willie, who is the official K-State podcast on the College Huddle. Today, we are going to talk about Oklahoma State. We got a big game coming up on Saturday against the Cowboys in Stillwater, a place we have not won since 1999. Are we going to break that streak on Saturday? Who knows? And we have a great guest, the CGA Tour and Cal, who is going to be here to talk about the Pokes. First, though, I do want to give a shout out to our sponsor, Annie Mae's Parlor, my favorite place to go in Manhattan, Kansas. This week at Annie Mae's, I'm sure there's a lot of great stuff going on, but Annie Mae's, as you can see, that Chef is pointing over here, has been an absolute great sponsor for us. Located at 616 North 12th Street in the heart of Aggieville. It is always a must destination when I come into town, when you all should be coming into town in Manhattan, especially for our home football games. Jeff's been great with us. We love having him. And, just make sure to go shout out. I don't have a koozie with me today, but come on, Chef. You got to have the koozie. No koozie. It's somewhere. But Annie Mae's is selling our Wildcat Country Let's Ride koozies at their location. So please give a shout out to Annie Mae's. Visit Manhattan, 616 North 12th Street in the heart of Aggieville. All right, let's go ahead and talk Oklahoma State. And again, we have Cal from the CGA Tour with us today. Thank you for joining, number one. Talk to us. I mean, come on. This has been an interesting season of a lot of highs and a lot of lows. Being nice, maybe some more lows and highs. But welcome back. It's great to have you here on the show today.
Thanks, Chef and Fireball. I like your guys' names. You're not going straight up. You got Bob Trollsby as the third. I need to do something. I need to do something with mine. I'm missing out. All of us here at the College Huddle need to do something like that. That's terrific. But this Saturday, we are honoring maybe the best wide receiver in college football history, Justin Blackmon. And that is the highlight of the game. Because, to put it bluntly, we are 20.5 point or 19.5 point or maybe 19 if you're really looking at those books out in Vegas, underdogs at home against K-State, who I believe here, if I'm right in saying, is out of contention to be in the Big 12 championship game. So
we are, yes.
So it's not, no offense, you guys are not world beaters, and we're still projected to lose by 19-21, somewhere in there. So it's just not overall the most optimistic I've been about a Cowboy game heading into it. I don't know why I would have a ton of optimism after the past couple. And the possibility of having, some hope was Haas Haney, our starting quarterback, who was supposedly looking at this game to come back for. We had a bye week last week, etc. And he got injured literally the first quarter of the first game of the season back in August, and he fractured his foot. It's no small injury. Healing from a Jones fracture, which keeps NBA players out for a whole season. So I don't blame the guy for not coming back at all. But this was kind of the game where maybe he'll come back, and he's not on the depth chart. So there's no way. It's day to day. If I'm Haas Haney, I don't know why I would come back either. So I don't have a ton of hope. But that was kind of the hope that it's just gonna not happen. So I'm excited to see Oklahoma State football. It's always a fun time, moving in the stadium, tailgating, hanging out with family and friends, all type of stuff. But man, this is not the most optimistic view I've ever had going into a game. I think the last ones we've done before, I've been like, well, you know what? Maybe we can do this. Or, like even last year we won 3 games heading into this game.
Yeah.
And one was against Arkansas, and another one was Tulsa it was 45-10, and we had Ollie Gordon second. This team, we've got a guy who was playing quarterback at one point, who then now is playing wide receiver, who now is back to playing quarterback out of necessity, possibly starting at quarterback, but definitely going to be playing some snaps. And that's just kind of the state of where we're at. Fired a head coach 3 games in the season, as everyone knows. Gundy's gone. Gundy has not publicly said anything about being gone either. Every other coach has commented, said, everyone. But anyways, I digress. It's not the most hopeful look into a game I've ever had. That's for sure.
No, that's completely fair. And you covered some of the points of kind of the big picture of what 2025 is looked at. A 1-8 record. You mentioned House Haney, who was a TCU transfer, and admittingly in that first quarter, I remember that game kind of looked the part of a guy that coming in to really kind of be the starter, and showed some flashes in that game. Thinking about the Gundy firing after the Tulsa game, and this impending coaching change that is going to be coming at the end of this season. Thinking about the overall vibe of the program, maybe isn't necessarily looking at the past 9 games, but it's looking at, okay, here's the next 3 games, the last 3 games of the season, and then the potential of somebody coming in and kind of revamping this program. So what is the overall kind of vibe right now as an Oklahoma State supporter and fan about the football program of where they are at right now?
There's a lot of hope and optimism for next year and what a new head coach could bring. Oklahoma State historically has paid Big 12 coaching, and when it comes to Big 12 coaching, top 3 in Big 12 coaching revenue year over year. With Gundy, that was always true. Now, Gundy was always trying to keep that bar going up. He was not complacent with being paid whatever he was being paid. He was always going to, and advantageous to him, props to him. I mean, know your value, know your worth. But I think a lot of fans, including myself, are optimistic of what the next era could look like. Will it be a possible former Oklahoma State quarterback, offensive coordinator for the Falcons coming to Stillwater? Or will it be a possible other kind of group of 5 currently head coach, either at North Texas or Texas State or Memphis, just kind of wherever, USF, University of South Florida. So there's a lot of optimism in, hey, who could be the next coach? And while we're still able to be incredibly optimistic, right? Like this is kind of the honeymoon optimism phase. It's nice, but it's also just so bizarre. I mean, Gundy's been the head coach. I'm now 32. Gundy's been the head coach since I was in 4th grade. So it's a long time. And he did one hell of a job for so long. He was named Big 12 Coach of the Year in 2021 and 2023, as well as I think 2011. So he was named it more in this decade than he was the last decade. It just is all so bizarre that the season went like this, and it went so downhill so quick. But there's a lot of optimism in the fan base, and there's a lot of who's going to be the next head coach. And, hey, you see the basketball team play, which it's November. We're talking about basketball and next head coaches. It's kind of where we're at. One win against UT Martin, which, if you guys know where that UT stands for, it's University of Tennessee at Martin, which was not the first one I thought of. So, there's just kind of, because we're used to like the UTSA, right? University of Texas, so University of Texas Martin, not too out of the blue, but of course the University of Tennessee. So, anyways, yeah, it's an optimistic, hopeful kind of vibes. We're having a lot of fun. We've got several hundred students taking their shirts off, waving them around. We'll see if they'll happen this weekend, although it is supposed to be kind of nice, so probably. And we've got a lot of guys dressing up in banana suits, a lot of guys and gals for that matter. So we're having fun with the season. A lot of fans are just excited for what's next. Are they going to raise ticket prices again after this year? I hope not. A lot of that stuff going on. Who's going to be the guy to come in, and then we'll see where we're at.
Yeah, well, specifically on the offensive side of the ball, we're going to break this team down, and looking forward into the future, the depth of this team on offense throughout positions. It's going to be looked at with the new head coach, but this season it's been a struggle. It's been a struggle on offense. I think that's really been the main point of it all. I think once a head coach goes, the defense kind of goes with that. I mean, it's a lot of structure that needs to go with defense, but offensively, who is the main guy that's going to lead this team? If you want to have success and show progress in those last 3 games for the next future head coach, who are the people that are going to do it, and what have they been doing that you might see different going out of a bye week with an interim head coach?
Yeah, so we're on like our 3rd quarterback. I mean, it's a tough place to be, but we're either on our 2nd or 3rd quarterback. There was a ton of hype for a guy named Zane Flores, who I thought his name, it's spelled Flores, and I thought that's the pronunciation for a while, but he's been on the roster this is his 3rd year with Oklahoma State. He's got a red shirt and a medical red shirt. So both, and this is his 3rd year. So this is really like his 1st year.
Yeah.
And
State should be familiar with him. I mean, he was recruited heavily by K-State at the time.
And he was like going to be the guy. I mean, it was like the Zane train. Zane's got zip. Like we had the whole, like, we're really into alliteration in Stillwater, but we had the whole thing going. We were really excited about it. And I love it. Like, I love when we get behind a guy and it's optimistic and it's no longer, hey, it's Alan Bowman and kind of the dreaded stretch. But Haas Haney gets injured so early in that first game. And we were up, to be honest, in the first game. I thought, we're just going to sit in Haas. We're just trying to get both guys playing time. Haas started, we're trying to get Zane playing time. And then when Haas didn't go back in for like the 3rd quarter, but he only played the first, it's like, okay, maybe they're being safe and, whatever might be with him. Because it was from everything I can tell, it was a non-contact injury. And that stuff happens, like, period. But we're on Zane Flores, who was also heavily recruited by Nebraska, and Matt Rule, close to when Dylan Raiola would have been starting, of course. So he's up there in that kind of high regard. He just is not panned out to be the guy. And it's either that he does not have any protection. I mean, it seems like every play, he's just shell-shocked. He's possibly gotten like the Mitch Trubisky, Daniel Jones treatment of quarterbacks, where like he's just thrown in there and he's got the worst opponents to play against. I mean, his first opponent starting against is Oregon. He threw 2 pick sixes, I believe. We lost the game 69 to 3, and really we only gave up 55 points on defense. Like he's either had the toughest luck and the worst experience, or just overall he's just not as good as we thought he'd be. And that's also quite possible. Like if you're telling me, hey, his offensive line doesn't block super well, he's got no time to think, I'd understand. I just show up at that Kansas game 2 weeks ago where he came back from injury, played in it. We put up 20-plus points. It's something we can build on coming forward. Like that, all that lead up about Zane to say is like, this guy has what you would think of having the talent. Just can we either get him a little bit more time, or can couple more things break our way? I'm not saying we're going to beat K-State. Don't get me wrong. But like, we could make it a game for a while. We made it against Kansas a game for a while. I know you guys beat Kansas, by the way. But like, we went to KU at KU, and for the first time in some weeks, we made it look like a game. I mean, we're talking about a team that lost 42-0 against Texas Tech, and Texas Tech was up like 14 points within 1 play from scrimmage because they ran back a kick, and then we fumbled it or had some type of muff punt, and then we gave the ball back to them on their 20, and they scored again. Same dude, by the way, scored back-to-back possessions, wide receiver and the pick six and the kick return, excuse me. But there are just some like weird stuff has happened. Like we have some pee-wee type of football plays where like a running back's like trying to like run into the line of scrimmage, and he turn his body so he can go backwards kind of over the line, and then he's got the ball too loose. So then the Texas Tech guy comes in and grabs it while he's still going backwards and takes it to the house. Like we've got some just really, really bizarre situations that have happened this year. But the main thing is like we're not as good as we thought we'd be at all. And I don't think we have any motivation. And we get down big pretty quickly in games. That's what's been tough. We not only let the other team score and don't stop them, we also can't do much to stick with it. But the KU game was kind of something where we were leading a couple times here and there. We could have gone into halftime, I think tied or winning. I forget exactly, depending on the field goal. So there's some hope, there's some promise, there's something to look forward to on offense, and that's where our calling card is. And we've also got a guy who's in Big 12 freshman player of the year contention in our defensive line. but you guys are going to double team him just like every other team we played had so far. So I don't think Wendell Gregory is going to just really take you by storm. Um, and I'm excited about seeing Zane Flores back out there again. We've got a ton of wide receivers that are all transfers in that look really good when they get the ball in their hands for sure. And we have a converted wide receiver quarterback who can have some really fun plays back there behind center for sure. He's 5'11" and he was going to be a wide receiver all the way up until Zane got injured. So it's just tough. We're not the UCLA who's got Nico Iamaleava and starting at quarterback, and then they fire their head coach because they lose so badly, and then they still have that quarterback. We not only have the fired head coach, we also have the injuries. So just a tough spot to be. We've got guys transferring out. I mean, it's not a great season when we're going to look back on it. It's going to be, this is the year of Haas, Haney, and Gundy got fired. And maybe, hey, all right, Wendell Gregory made some noise defensively. Cool. Hopefully we keep him this offseason.
All right. Well, you made some really interesting points and stuff. As all of us, we watch a lot of Big 12 football, and you see basically all 15 teams. We try and pay attention to, at least I do. Chef has probably 4 that he really pays attention to. But I look at the Oklahoma State offense, and I think about offense in general. You always think of the skill players, the quarterbacks, etc. But in many ways, a really good offense is led by the offensive line and what they can do. And this is an offensive line at Oklahoma State that has had some struggles, at least with pass protection and keeping the quarterback upright. They've given up 16 sacks through 9 games. But I think one of the key things, and we're seeing this on the K-State side as well, is run blocking. And Oklahoma State is last in the Big 12, 126 yards per game on the ground. So about 1,100, into this season. So talk to us a bit about the offensive line. Has it been a unit that maybe has been cohesive, but maybe doesn't have the talent? Or is there, anything glaring that you see when you watch the offense of, not being able to get the running back anything and not being able to give the quarterback any time?
I mean, at the end of the day, I think it comes down mostly to the line play. Like, there's some bad quarterback play, there's some bad running back play, but most plays seem to be bad offensive line play, run blocking and pass blocking. Really, like our pass pro setup it's not great at all. It's not good, and it really needs to be great for a redshirt freshman quarterback coming off of an injury, by the way, to play well. I mean, he needed so much help. And we don't – Haas Haney, why I was so hopeful to have him is because he was a very mobile quarterback. We've got Zane, who's much more of a pocket passer, not a real mobile guy. And it just really sucks when our line just doesn't block well kind of all around. And we've also got linemen transferring out, like, during the season. So there's not a lot of continuity either. I understand all of it, why the guys are transferring, what's going on, guys are having injuries, etc. But it's just a tough spot to be in because we don't have a mobile quarterback and we don't have a quick quarterback, even quick passing. So, like, all of it just is slower because the guy you really want back there under center and who's been trained to be quarterback his entire life, it's just a little bit slower, especially for this line. And the other guy back there is a converted wide receiver playing quarterback who was a quarterback, weirdly enough. It's a whole weird deal. But look up Sam Jackson the fifth. I mean, like, whole weird story. He's played this is his 4th school. So, like, this is the transfer portal era we're in with him. But it's fun. I'm glad we have him. We learned a lot of trick plays with him, too, which is fun.
I love a good gadget wide receiver / quarterback. It's a diverse setting that you could get with this guy out on the field. But you touched on quarterback, and I think you've touched on every quarterback on the roster. And they deserve their flowers, and they deserve their time to shine. But this season hasn't been it. But I kind of want to divert a little bit from the outline and talk a little bit about the future, especially of what you want. We'll get back to the position groups here in a second, but I kind of want to get to that future aspect of it. You mentioned a name and potential names of who you want to head coach. Is there a change to this offense and specifically the quarterback position that you would want to see? Like, because Oklahoma State, when I think of Oklahoma State, I've always thought of like innovative offenses, very spread out, get things done, power run. Chuba Hubbard was, I mean, he gave me nightmares when we had to face them in, what was that, 21, 22 or something like that. He was everything. What do you want to see this program and this offense, and specifically the quarterback position? What do you want to see with this new era of Oklahoma State football?
A lot more just motion, a lot more pre-snap motion, a lot more diverting, exactly like doing more schemes. It seems like our offense is very bland and vanilla, which I understand. Like, our offensive coordinator is now our head coach. I mean, it's not too crazy for me to believe. Like, our defensive coordinator got fired this season as well, 1 weekend after our head coach got fired because it was so bad. And I understand all of it, like why these changes were made. Just that doesn't mean that the rest of the season's going to go I'm not going to be able to take away anything, is my point. Like, I would really hope that we could have a really good passing attack again. That's my favorite era of Oklahoma State football, is having Justin Blackman running the basically the fade route down the sideline, having, Rudolph to Washington. I mean, you talk about a Blitnikoff winner. I mean, James Washington, I think, is the most recent one for Oklahoma State. And it's almost like he won back-to-back, when it was really Justin Blackman. So there are so many things I remember about, like, that opened up the run game. That's when we had Justice Hill, and, when we had Tylan Wallace, we had Chuba Hubbard, and, we had, all these guys. So I'm really hopeful that, like, we can get back to that kind of offensive production again. I don't know if I can take anything away from this season and how it's gone that would lead me to go, okay, I want Zane back for sure, or I want Haas back, because we've seen him play like 3 series. I mean, it's a great question. It's just really tough, because I would, hey, if we get Eric Morris from North Texas, bring up everyone, man. Like, if you think your guys are going to be guys you want to bring with you, like, I want the next head coach to bring in guys with him, either for a camp battle or purely out of that's his guy he trusts. And heck, if North Texas gets in the College Football Playoff, which they're kind of in line to right now, then I'm all for him bringing up whoever. You play a College Football Playoff game. We won 1 game, dude. I mean, that's kind of where I'm at. Like, see what you got, bring it on up. Hopefully we can keep the rest of the guys around to have some, kind of camp competitions. But if the other guys transfer out, I'm not going to blame them. This is a complete. I wouldn't think it'd be crazy to see a whole new roster next year. This year, we've seen 27 guys who have never played for Oklahoma State already play. This year, 27 new guys. The number will probably keep going up by the end of the season. A side tangent: we have a dude who was not playing football last year and went to University of Central Florida just as a student, now as like our 3rd stringer, and he transferred during the season, like in September. I'm not sure how that works academically. I don't think it matters that much. I'm not worried about it. But, like, we're at the depths, when this is not like the sunny days are ahead. They're not here. So I'm excited to see what they look like, but it's a whole blank slate. I'll take whatever, wherever. You tell me the next head coach wants to do this, whatever. Cool. Eric Morris is a former wide receiver for Texas Tech. Maybe he wants to bring in a bunch of other wide receivers. I don't know. Alex Golish with South Florida. He's a former graduate assistant at Oklahoma State. He met his wife, I think, at Oklahoma State, if I'm reading all the tea leaves correctly. So come on back to Stillwater and run whatever you want to run, whatever you think will work best, because we just know one thing for sure. It'll be different, was the expectation. Like, if we bring back Zach Robinson and you watch the Atlanta Falcons this year, as a lot of Oklahoma State fans have, I'm sure, they don't run a lot of pre-snap motion. They don't do a lot of crazy things on offense, but they have studs. They don't have to do that. They have, like, the offense you'd want to pick to play with in Madden. So they don't have to do that. So what does a Zach Robinson coach college team look like when he doesn't have all the guys? So just a blank slate, happy with whatever, I think.
Man, if you bring Eric Morris up, I think the biggest boon out of that would be Mestemaker, the quarterback, who has looked kind of really, really good. I mean, I think he's going to be at a power 4 team, no question, next year. I do want to get a little bit back into the position groups and talk about the running backs. And this is a position that historically Oklahoma State has seen a ton of success with. You mentioned some of those guys previously, and historically, as I've watched Oklahoma State, they've had a really good run game. Rodney Fields Jr. Been the guy that's really seen a bulk of the carries this season, close to 500 rushing yards on the year. Also getting some stuff in the pass game, 218 receiving yards and 2 overall touchdowns. You have a couple other backs, Trent Howland, Caleb Hicks, who have over 40 carries this season. It doesn't necessarily look like the Oklahoma State kind of rush offense of old, but what have opposing defenses done to kind of maybe limit some of Oklahoma State's ability on the ground game this year, and have the past couple games that they've had given any hope that you might be able to get a little bit of a running game going this Saturday?
Yeah, I mean, the defenses really have done a great job of just bottling up any running back production, especially on the outside. I mean, the one thing is, like, it kind of all goes back to the blocking, unfortunately, is that just sometimes the defense doesn't have to rush an extra man, and they can just match up and still still get a guy through pretty quickly. And sometimes they don't. They just have guys just sitting there in zone, and or they're playing man coverage either way, but they're just waiting for Zane to make a decision back there under center, or Sam Jackson the fifth, or a wide receiver quarterback guy, and that's worked out well for him too. Freddie Brock is on the roster. I thought he'd be doing much better. Georgia State transfer. But Rodney Fields, he's the guy that you'll see. He and Wendell Gregory are the 2 Oklahoma State guys you'd see us be really excited if we got back next year. Like, we'll be really happy if we can bring both of them back, because Rodney Fields looks really good when he has the ball and has some space. He's not getting a ton of opportunity like that, especially because we're not throwing the ball that efficiently. So we don't really give the defense another look that they might have to worry about. We're okay at running the ball, 500 yards rushing with, 8 or so games in the books, and he's not taking every snap, as you just said. So it's okay, but it's not. It's definitely not anywhere close to the offense of old, and there's just not a lot that the defenses have to worry about. They're able to play the run pretty good the whole time and kind of worry about a pass play here and there, but the passing game has just not been on par with what you would hope for the running game to open up. And our running game has not been good enough for the passing game to open up. It's just kind of comes back around. So kind of a bummer there, but we're really hopeful we can bring Rodney Fields back next year for sure.
Little double-edged sword right there. One's not opening up for the other one. Yeah, you'll have that in a down season. But I want to talk about these receivers and tight ends, specifically the receivers. I mean, Gavin Freeman is like the prototypical, like, when I remember Oklahoma State offenses, he's like that slot guy that would just, but now he's kind of have to be the primary receiver. He catches a ton of balls, awesome possession receiver. And he's completely tatted up aesthetic-wise. Matt, I'm a huge aesthetic guy. Love the way he looks. Absolutely insane. Completely inked out. Talk to me about these receivers. Gavin Freeman, just mentioned him. He's a dog. You mentioned the gadget wide receiver / quarterback. Talk to me about this receiving game and what can we look forward to? Like, the K-State's been known to give up the big deep pass. I think you got a receiver on the roster that's got 15.9 yards per completion. Talk to me about these receivers and can they exploit this K-State defense?
Exploit might be a little strong,
Okay.
but I think they can do something for sure. Like, I mean, Freeman, he's a transfer up from OU, and he's taking every advantage he can that he's getting a lot of snaps. He's finding a lot of open spaces. He plays a lot more like David Glidden and just a couple of, and I mean, I guess Wes Welker. I mean, if you're really throwing it out there, but like he's able to kind of be a little bit smaller dude, under 6 feet, be a gadget guy. He's got the tats. I mean, he is 5'8", 185.
He reminds me of a little bit of like a less explosive. You had a Presley kid. He was from like Bixby.
Brennan Presley.
Yeah. I think his brother's actually going to Oklahoma State next year, I think. But
he's got like 6 brothers. One of them's coming to Oklahoma State. One of them was here and then transferred to Tulsa and then beat us. So you never know. But they're from Tulsa, to be fair, and he wasn't playing at Oklahoma State when he transferred out. So like now this year he probably would have played. It's just funny how that all works. Yeah, he's a little bit like Brennan in the fact that he just gets open and then just makes the catch. Like a lot of passes hit his hands that just are caught, and especially ones that you wouldn't think. So, Shamar Rigby's the guy you're mentioning. He's got the 15.6 yards per catch. He just has only gotten the ball 16 times. I mean, really looking at this, I was on the podcast I was doing earlier today here talking about Justin Blackman and going through a little bit. Justin Blackman caught like 100+ balls every year he was with Oklahoma State, all 3 years. And so seeing a guy here 8 games in with 36 catches leading the team is alarming, but also it makes sense. I mean, we just having a good passing offense. Shamar Rigby might be the guy to win some jump balls there because he's 6'3", 190. I would love to see him get some more passes thrown his way. And then our kind of converted wide receiver quarterback, back to quarterback, is Sam Jackson, who's got 7 receptions this season for about 10 yards. I mean, that's the one thing. Is you're looking up now at Oklahoma State's like receiving, the averages are almost for all the top guys. The averages are like 10 yards, if not more. It just is these guys are not getting the ball that much, and they're not getting the ball often enough for that average to go down either. So our running back's the second highest receiver on the team. So that just kind of tells you like how quickly we have to get rid of the ball, how we're not able to get a lot of guys in space. But Ronnie Fields Jr. has 22 catches as a running back for 9.9 yards on average. Like pretty great at the end of the day. Just let's keep feeding him. He's got a catch of 63 yards. That helps out a lot. But it's just not it just hasn't been enough, clearly, to make any sense. We haven't finished within a touchdown score-wise of any game we played since the Tulsa loss, and that was a touchdown loss. So, and that was back in September 19th. So just a lot of our games have just not been close enough for these wide receivers to be really stacking up some yardage or anything either. Like we need to throw to them. We've just been, our last game was 38-21, and that was a close game for us. So not overall just fantastic.
Yeah. You brought up a really that Blackman stat is really interesting to me because if you think about those Oklahoma State teams, he was there, it was like 9, 10, and 11, or he was there for 3 years, 2009, 10, 11.
9, 10, 11. Yep.
I mean, obviously Brandon Whedon, was a great quarterback, but that was like the heyday of Big 12 offenses airing the ball out. I mean, and today, just how football I feel like has changed. I think for a top team, I mean, Oklahoma State was a top, obviously 10 team for, 2 of those years. I guess I'd have to look at wide receivers at top teams now to see but Jeremiah Smith has 65 receptions with 3 games left. I mean, and you would consider him to be, one of the top wide receivers in the country. So it's just interesting kind of how offenses have changed. In 15 years, I guess, since Justin Blackman played. Man, he killed us in both those games. All right, I want to flip it over to the defensive side and talk a little bit about a unit that, at the beginning of the season, Brian Nardo was the defensive coordinator. Was he? Who was the defensive coordinator?
Todd Grantham.
Todd Grantham. Yep, sorry. Nardo was the offensive coordinator from last year, right?
He was Nardo was defense coordinator last year.
Last year, sorry. Anyway, but I remember kind of bringing in Todd Grantham as kind of a little bit of a change, and you look at his kind of past stops and what he has done in college football. It was going to be interesting to see how this was going to play out for Oklahoma State this year, obviously now Clint Bowen, who is the interim defensive coordinator, is kind of trying to, right the ship kind of maybe later on here this season. But looking at Oklahoma State statistically in the Big 12, they do give up the most yards in the conference, more points per game. It just seems like it's a unit that just hasn't necessarily had the pieces work together, in a majority of the games this season. So, thinking about K-State, and a lot of this K-State success this year has come from explosive plays from the offensive side. I imagine that's kind of a point of emphasis from our offensive coordinator, Matt Wells, going into this game. So kind of thinking about maybe what you've seen from K-State this year, and then obviously what you've seen from Oklahoma State on the defensive side. Is there anything that particularly concerns you about K-State's offense going into this game against your defense?
Yeah, I mean, you've got a quarterback under center who can run, And that is incredible. Like a quarterback who's just dynamic, who's a runner, who's known as that, that's incredibly worrying. Like last year when we played, that was my number one concern going into that K-State game was like, is Avery going to get loose? Is he going to be able to make plays with his feet, feel super confident under center or in shotgun, and be able to make plays where we've got to not only worry about his throwing ability, but also his running ability. And the second we have to worry about both, we're kind of dead in the water. I just knew that from the Arkansas game, how Taylor Green was just taking us apart. In that we kind of got a couple of weird, lucky interceptions and kind of turnovers that just went our way, and a couple other plays just went our way. Period. That maybe if they play it again, don't. I mean, we took Arkansas to a double overtime win at home, and we have I think an interception to end the second overtime, and just stuff like that. Where I knew when we played K-State last year, it's like, all right, if Avery can get going, that's tough. And that's really what the worry is again, to be honest. I mean, I don't think you guys have the greatest running game in the entire world, but I'm definitely worried about your running game just because we're dead last. And it's just what it is. Like, I'm not trying to call it anything more than, hey, you know what? We are worse in offense and defense again in team stats this year. Average a game, 38.8 points that we're giving up on defense, and offense we're scoring 15.2. Like it's just really a bad look, and I would be shocked, honestly, if we held K-State to under 38 points, because I think you guys do have an explosive offense, as you mentioned, and I don't think there's a lot of, hey, this is the time to take a stand. Like, this is the game to make a stand, just because it's not senior day, and you guys are 20-point favorites. Like, I do think that gets in all the students' heads as well, too. Like, it's not going into this one, I was hoping, hey, Hossein will be back, et cetera, and this would be the closest game we have of the year, because you guys, I mean, you're 4-5. We got to play Iowa State later on, who's not 4-5. No offense, right? Like, that's the other home game we have. We might beat UCF at UCF, but like, I'm looking at like what are a possible win in the season. And after we lost to Tulsa, I was like, hopefully K-State. And there's just no way. I mean, you guys are like nowhere near the bottom in either offense or defensive stats. You're not at the very top, but like you're middle of the pack. It's I think I'm rightfully going, yeah, you guys are probably going to put up a lot of points. I'd be surprised if you don't score 40, just because our defense has let up a lot of points and not really held the teams to a lot of field goals. So.
Yeah, I'm terrified of Stillwater. I'm trying to get on board with what you're saying, and I love that you're pumping me right now, but it's not. I don't believe it yet, because you've got guys on that side of the ball like Wendell Gregory that we just played Texas Tech, and I'm not going to say that like your D line is anywhere near as powerful as Texas Tech, who's like one of the tops in the country, but Wendell Gregory is an absolute dude. And he can get after the quarterback. He can change games. And with our offensive line the way it is, I'm not going to put it past anybody that he can make a game out of anything with a couple sack game of Avery Johnson. So talk to me about this D line. I know you mentioned earlier in the episode that we're probably going to be sending double teams his way, but outside of him, can you talk to me about this pass rush on the D line and maybe even sprinkle a little bit of this linebacker core? Because I want to know what the front that you're throwing out there is. Are you loading this box? I mean, what has Oklahoma State done defensively? Because I know it's got to be far from the Jim Knowles 3-3-5, right?
Yeah, it's something like that. I mean, the interim defensive coordinator came over from Tulsa. His son is one of the quarterbacks on the team, one of the four. It's kind of the state of the program, but we've got Jaleel Johnson out there on defensive end. Like, I thought Wendell Gregory coming into the season was a freshman, transfer from South Carolina. Jaleel Johnson was the name that I knew coming into the season. And then the other guy who's defensive tackle or nose tackle is Amon Oates, and he's the other guy who I'm like, hey, he's pretty good. And I'm surprised all three of these guys, including Wendell Gregory, have not been able to create more than 5 fumbles on the season. Now, that's not worse than Big 12, but Baylor and BYU are the worst Big 12 with 4 fumbles created on the season. So it's not a great stat overall that you're really taking a ton away from. But like interceptions, say we've got 3 interceptions on the season forced. That's 1 more than Cincinnati, excuse me. And then when it comes down to it, at the end of the day, like our defense should be more of a calling card. It should be something that we're really proud and excited about. It's bizarre that like we can't put it all together. We can't have one game where we kind of get everything all going together. And I get it, but I don't know. It's really tough. Like we have, we don't have a guy in the top, or I guess Brian McCoy Jr. is our top tackler for any guy in the Big 12, top rated guy, and he's down there at 25th for amount of tackles on a season. So not the greatest look for us overall as a team, but like we could stay in the game longer than you would think. I'm not trying to say we're going to get obliterated. Like a 20-point win is pretty good, and it's not really a close game. But then again, like we will show up. We will score some points, one would think. I don't think your guys' defense is as good as Texas Tech's, and that's who held us scoreless. But I also don't think your defense is bad enough where we're going to make it more of a game than we did against Kansas. If I'm using the Kansas barometer as something to take away from, you guys play Kansas, beat them pretty good. We play Kansas, we lose to them by 21 points, but we were in it for a little bit of the game. So there's some happiness to take away from it, just not a ton.
I want to last, kind of position group on the defensive side. Let's talk about the secondary. You have a guy who's been a 5-year guy in the secondary, in Parker Robinson, and he's I think third in the team in tackles, 54 total tackles, has an interception this year as well as a forced fumble. But a guy, again, when I think of Oklahoma State, of guys that stay in the program for a long time, and they end up, really making an impact in their kind of later years. A few other names, Mordecai McDaniel. He's a Charlotte transfer that came in this year. He has 38 total tackles, 1 sack. And then from a cornerback position, LaDainian Fields has an interception with 9 tackles. Kenneth Harris and Cam Smith have over 20 tackles at the position. K-State, has shown this year they've had a pretty good vertical passing attack, multiple receivers who do have some big playability. That being said, J.B. Bradley expected to be out for this game. Chase Brown has not been 100% this year. So what have you seen from the defensive backs this season? And what kind of coverage between maybe man and zone can we expect to see from this team?
I gotta be honest, I'm not the best at dissecting all of that. So like zone versus man, I'm the guy who wanted to play high school football but never did because I had glasses and braces the entire time, and I've tried to my best to learn more of the offensive side of it since then. But Parker Robertson is one of the nicest and one of the best people I've ever met, but like he is a former walk-on, so just take it for granted. Like he is the heart and soul of this defense if Wendell Gregory's not. Like he is the guy. He's marrying one of the Palm girls, engaged to him. Like he is Oklahoma State through and through, and he's an awesome dude. It just is kind of like a matter of the fact deal where like you would hope that he would be a supportive guy. He would be a guy you'd be talking about as like a playmaker, a dude who, and then they've also got Parker Robertson. But like instead, we're kind of leading off talking with them, which is, again, just kind of a state of where we're at. We got guys transferring out all the time. We've got one on the season. I'm not saying anything I haven't said earlier. LaDainian Fields has shown up, played pretty good, but like not good enough. I don't think we have a defensive guy besides Wendell Gregory that other teams are really worried and have to focus on or about. We don't have like a guy from any of the 3 levels of the defense, whether it be the defensive backs, linebackers, defensive line, that really bring a ton of worry to teams. And if you got some big boys up front, you're going to be able to handle Wendell Gregory enough that the rest of the guys are going to be muted and not make a huge difference. I will say, I think Parker Robertson probably gets an interception before the year's over. He just seems like he's due. He's put his couple mitts on a couple balls, and it hasn't worked out exactly. It just hasn't come down with it. It has been a little bit too erratic for him to pull it off. But I more am like really proud that like he's played the whole season. He's played really tough. Like LaDainian Fields, like a lot of the guys who are on the team in games are not quitting, which is great to see. Of course, we did see a little bit of that last year. I'm not going to name names, but certain guy who transferred down south who wasn't putting up 110% effort for Oklahoma State last year, it seemed. And now it seems like he is putting up 110% effort, and he's making a huge name for himself. So props to Kendall Daniels, I'll say his name now. But like, you would just hope that all these guys keep trying as hard as they can, because then I think that's how we could stay in a game and actually win. It's like, hey, K-State scored the first possession. All right, cool. Let's make sure they don't score the second possession or the third possession, and how can we kind of try to cause back into it? It does seem like our offense needs a little bit to get going each time, and it's not that hot to start. And that's very emblematic of a redshirt freshman quarterback, and an offensive line that's not the greatest in the world, and offensive backs who are all new or changing scenery or change of pace. The one running back we didn't talk about is Trent Howland. He's going to run some weird Wildcat stuff, I assume, and he also may just run over you guys. I mean, that dude is physically a massive guy, and Trent Howland is not in a tush push next year for some team. I'd be shocked. I mean, he's a fullback who's playing running back. He's Derrick Henry size. He just, of course, is not Derrick Henry fast, but he's Derrick Henry size. If he was Derrick Henry fast, we'd be making more noise than we are now, for sure.
Yeah. Well, just as important as a running back with Derrick Henry size is a kicker that has a leg that can make kicks. You got one that has made all of his extra points. He's 11 of 15 on the season, or is it 11-14? I don't want to discredit my guy, Logan Ward. 11 of 15. Talk to me about the kickers real quick. Just highlight him, because I think he's kind of a bright spot. I like 11 of 15. I will take that from a college kicker every time. And then that's the first part of my question. I want to get back to the second part.
So kickoffs for Oklahoma State, which I'm pretty sure is our Logan Ward guy here. We're first in the conference in kickoffs. I mean, amount of yardage, like on kickoffs. First in the Big 12. Yeah, our average yards a game in kickoffs is pretty high up there. So, our net, excuse me, is the exact term I was looking for. So pretty good there. And Logan Ward's a pretty darn good kicker. He is 11 of 15, and that percentage on field goals total in the season is incredible. And point after touchdown, granted, we are not going to have a lot of touchdowns, but he's perfect. He's 14 to 14. So he doesn't get much better than that. And then Wes Paul, our punter, he's six in the conference in punting. Net punts per game. He's 41.5, which is tied with number 3 in the Big 12 and BYU. So we're pretty darn good. If we could just be kicking it more often, we'd be better. If we can just somehow figure out a way to run more plays with our kicker and punter in. That's kiss.
I love it. Okay, now this is my very specific Oklahoma State question that I only asked you guys. What are the uniform combinations you're going to be wearing for senior night? I love this for Oklahoma State, because you probably have arguably the best combinations of anybody in the conference.
But you're asking for this weekend or for senior night?
Yeah, I don't know if because usually uniform Twitter is one of the best things, and they do reveals and stuff down season. I don't know if they're doing that right now, but what would be your guess if you had to guess?
So my guess is we wear, it's a day game, or it's 11 a.m. kickoff, so we're not wearing black, I wouldn't think. Otherwise, if it's a nighttime game, we might wear black, but otherwise probably not. That's the jersey. I bet we're wearing orange and then black, orange, black, to be honest. I bet that's it. Black, orange, black with a little cowboy script helmet, just because I'm wearing the cowboy script hat. I would love to see it. I feel like that's just a really clean, good look we've got going. Maybe we break out a helmet with Pete on it on the side. That'd be kind of sick. I really want the chrome helmets back. What do we have to do to get the chrome back in action? The Oklahoma State played Washington in a bowl game, and we wore these orange chrome helmets. We had a defensive lineman named James Castleman leak out like he played for the Detroit Lions, and got thrown the pass and trucked a dude, and part of his helmet chips off. Everyone's probably seen the GIF if I'm describing it, maybe not the best. Where are the orange chrome helmets? Bring them back. Let's do full orange chrome unis, chrome lettering on the numbers. I would love to see that. I instead probably think it's black, orange, black, and we're not putting out the world's greatest uniforms. But honestly, with Justin Blackman back for the weekend, maybe we do a little retro vibe. We do a little
those grays.
Orange. black, orange, or something. I'm not sure, I don't know.
Maybe.
Bring the grays back. I love the grays that you guys used to wear too. Those were just like out of nowhere, just like a little gray accent in there.
A gray accent or gray whole jersey?
I think I think you guys wore the grays.
Oh no, no. What do you want? Because I'm very opinionated in this.
Okay, well for me, I like them, but I'm not too deep in there. But like for me, I think that Oklahoma State should do something like similar. Not necessarily. There's two different oranges, but what the Tampa Bay Buccaneers do with the creamsicle, I think you guys deserve like a creamsicle uniform. That's what I would want.
When you said I'm not too deep into it, pause. I don't know if the gray unis are like the best unis we ever had. Like you're not too deep into the grays because like you don't know where I'm leaning here. I'm against them. Like
You are.
We are orange. We are Oklahoma State. We have the America's brightest orange. Let's wear more orange. Like
Yeah.
but I'm also the dork in high school who wore like Boise State colors to school. I was like, I love blue, and I'm going to Oklahoma State. I'm wearing orange and blue every day.
Orange and
like,
blue.
and it was Boise State blue. It was not navy. So like, I am that dork. So just take it with a grain of salt. Like my jersey opinions are probably not the greatest in the world, but like. Gray is like a suit, when gray really shows sweat and like, we're flashy, we're a cool offense, we're a cool school, like come to Oklahoma State because like we've got banana guys in the stands and we've got guys waving around their shirts off, and stuff like that. And it's just, we got a whole no shirty one section instead of 231. Like, come to Oklahoma State, see the bright color, see the bright America's brightest orange. Like, be proud of the orange. Like, let's wear more. The gray was fine as pants. Weird as a helmet because it was like matte.
Yeah.
I'm totally cool with it for like when we have like our we have like our military appreciation game. I'm totally cool with a lot of gray for that game. But outside of that, we got some sick uniforms.
I agree.
We orange correctly. Let's wear more orange. that's my opinion, personally.
I think they're going to do white, orange.
White, orange, white. I mean, you can't go white, orange, black. What are you, a candy
white,
corn?
orange, white, orange, orange.
You didn't do WOB or WOW. Either way, we have the acronym set up for it, to be clear.
White, orange, orange. Woo.
Ooh, a little woo.
Little
woo.
Isn't that? I swear they did white and then orange once.
I think they've done so many different
they've probably
combinations.
done multiple. Yeah. Now that I'm like freaking Googling this because I'm like, I mean, I agree. Like
the Blackman white helmets with the old like blocky OSU on the side was like, that's how I remember Oklahoma State, like prime Oklahoma State.
Yeah.
Now they've gone more script than ever before, and I love the script.
Well,
do they have a script pokes, or is that frowned upon in Oklahoma State world?
Well, Chef, we're deep into the jersey lore, so I don't know if you mind me sharing my screen here, but we have the whole deal set up here. So I think you guys got it. Yeah. We got it. All right. We've got record.
Is that record?
Total wins, total losses. We've got the black helmet, the orange helmet, white helmet. We got the jersey. We got the pants. We got it all broken down here real well. Shout out to Justin Southwell. I believe he runs this at Southwell on Twitter X, wherever you see it. He does his own podcast too with the Reload. They do a great job. Former walk-on Oklahoma State Cowboy. They're
3-0 with their.
I know
they're 3-0 with Woo.
No,
they're 3-0 with Woo.
Hey, you guys are trying to come to Stillwater and win. We're trying to win. Period. I don't know what's wrong with gray, black, gray. That's 1-0.
Gray, black, gray. Okay, black.
Orange, yeah, I mean we've got it. Like jerseys, all orange. Weirdly enough, we're 3-1.
3-1. Wow. Okay.
I'm just trying to find a bad combo that's got just the worst combo.
Black.
So
orange,
you've never
orange.
worn orange, gray. That's interesting. Like there's combos that you don't even have that you haven't even cracked out yet, which is
we've also never worn gray, orange.
From a Kansas State perspective, this board just is mind blowing. Like it's insane.
I'm very jealous. Let's put it
I'm very jealous as well.
Yeah, when we are wearing all whites at home and everybody's flipping out for the first
People
time.
poop their pants because
Yes.
of that.
That is what we get.
Well, I think if anything, you want us to wear an orange helmet because we're 18 and 16 in those, and then you definitely want us to wear a white jersey, which probably
Can't
not
do.
at home.
Probably not going to do.
I'm not going to do
I
that.
don't know.
Just
But
wear
also, like, black
orange helmet, orange pants, and well, no, that's better. Orange helmet and black pants, and then do whatever you want with the jerseys.
Yeah, I doubt that's going
The
to
jersey ring, every jersey we've worn, we somehow just killed it in. I don't know how that works. Yeah, we've got the jersey. I mean, the whole bottom right corner of this, where we wear a gray helmet, we basically lose. Or we don't claim it. to be
Don't
honest.
play in it. That's
Yeah, I
hilarious.
mean, we're 7-0 in white, black, white. So as long as we don't wear white, black, white, we're good. I mean, there's some stuff here going on.
That's beautiful.
I think you want us to really wear the black, orange because we're 1-3, and that's also one of the things I was saying we'd wear. So you're like, hey, Cal gets his wish, and we also have a better record when they're black, orange. So
Yeah.
I mean,
I love it.
if that's the question you're asking. I'm against the gray, I'm glad you're deep in it, but I'm
I
out.
love it.
Chef's
I'm just from a fan perspective. That is one of the highlights of Oklahoma State because I've never had any qualms with Oklahoma State ever, other than you guys beating us constantly in Stillwater. I love Oklahoma State. So from a fan perspective, I hope that you guys get whatever you want as long as it's not Colin Klein. And I just hope you guys get back to the potential that I know that you guys have, because going into 2 seasons ago when Oklahoma left and that whole fiasco and Texas left, everybody was wondering who was going to take that step and be the front runner in the conference. And you couldn't have told me that Gundy was gone and Oklahoma State wasn't going to be at least have their hat in the ring. And now here we are.
Yeah.
Here we are.
Here we
Who
are.
would have thought? Who would have thought?
Who would've thought?
It's got that Spider-Man meme pointing at all of us. We're all pointing at each other. Because I never would have thought we'd be here. Never would have thought that this would have been how this season would go, to be honest. I thought Gundy would coach out the rest of the whole season, and then we'd beat Tulsa. We might be 2 wins, but we hadn't lost to Tulsa in Stillwater since the 50s, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, that record coming down, that was when you kind of know, all right, Gundy's probably getting fired.
Yeah.
Probably,
Yeah.
All right. Prediction time?
Yeah.
All right.
I think let's go around. This is a game for me. And I think about K-State, we finally kind of exercised the demon of winning a game on the road against KU a few weeks ago. We hadn't won a game on the road in over a year at that time. There's some things that give me pause about this game. I'm thinking about an 11 o'clock kick, a team that I'm not saying they don't have anything to play for anymore, but there isn't as much excitement, I think, coming out of the program right now. And it gives me a little bit of pause for this game that I see a 19.5 point spread to cover. I don't see that. We have some injuries on defense. I don't know. I think we win. I think K-State wins 38-21. I think Oklahoma State covers the 19.5. I would not be surprised to see this closer. I don't know. I just think we could have the potential to start off slow in a game that, there may not, this is nothing against Oklahoma State, but I just think, we're 4-5 and what are we playing for? And that's what maybe I'm a little bit concerned about, but I think K-State wins this game. My prediction is 38-21.
Okay, I'll go next, and I'll leave Cal to end it and top us off with whatever he thinks is going to happen. I think Vegas has this number perfectly. 19.5 is, dead on it. That's exactly where I would have thought this game would go. I see road. I don't see how we can score 40 as much as Cal wants to get my hopes up. But there's no chance I think we score 40. I think 33 is probably the high end of where I'm going. So I'm going to go that way just because Vegas is telling me to. I'm going to go 33-13. I think our defense still has some life, even though we've lost Austin Romaine for the season, which is terrible, terrible news to hear. 33-13. We win by 20. Give me the Cats.
4 field goals.
Hey, Rodriguez is one of the best in the Big 12.
Yeah. Okay.
I think there's some funny business. I think there's some funny business in there with some safety as well.
Okay.
And a missed 2-point conversion, something like that.
Be like the Chargers Steelers game last night, which when I checked the score was 5-3 at one point. I'm like,
Yeah.
what? Who? Huh? I mean, so far this season, you guys have scored quite a bit of points in every game. I mean, yeah, you scored 17 against Arizona, but I'm talking that's forever ago now. But in the last 3 games, you guys have put up 40 in each of the about 3 last games. Or excuse me, no, that was we put 20. This is your get right game. You play Texas Tech, and they beat you. It was at home. It didn't feel great, and now you can go out and just kill a team. Like, just go, hey, let's show everyone what we're made of. This is the bye week. We got basically back-to-back bye weeks. Like, that's what you got a coach worth his salt. He's walking into the room and going, hey, so here's the deal. We're playing a team this week that's last in offense and defense in the conference by a wide margin. Are we going to win or what? Like, who are you guys? And then also, this isn't like backs against the wall. If we don't win this, we don't go to a bowl game. You don't win this one, you still could beat Utah and beat Colorado that season, go to a bowl game. Now, I don't project you to beat Utah, so you kind of got to win this one to go to a bowl game. But like, this is a home game. I mean, for Oklahoma State, that's really what we've got going for us. Besides that, like, maybe Shamar Rigby and Terrell Davis decide, hey, Justin Blackman's in the building. We got to show him up. We put up some record amount of points. Our defense gets a couple picks. But in all reality, I do think this is probably I'm going to say it's closer. I'm going to say it's 31-21, 31-24, because I am an Oklahoma State fan. I do see that we're building on something week over week. The offense is trending upwards, and we had a quarterback last game against KU who came back from injury to kind of rush back and play, it seemed, from all the wording from coaches. This time he's got another bye week. Should be fully healthy. The offense coordinator should be able to go, hey, listen, like, we're able to lay out a whole game plan for a bye week. What do we got? This would be it. I still think K-State will win, don't get me wrong, but I think we'll cover the spread and maybe even within 7 points. So I'm going to say 31-21 is my final. I think that's going to be it. Just because I also think, like, you guys will run the ball and we'll be running the ball, so there won't be that much time to put up a ton of points either. And that'd be barely under the over-under that Vegas has got, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe barely over. I think it was 51.5. So, like, I'm right on the number.
Yeah.
So that's where it comes from, too.
Good stuff. Well, Cal, thank you so much for coming on the show. Let all the Cokeheads know where they can find you so they can start, following.
You can find me at the CGA Tour. I am so sorry for keeping the label of my podcast on earlier where it said I was a host for a solid couple minutes until I figured that out. My apologies, Matt and Chef. And Chef, I'm happy to be deep in the gray with you. And I'll pause a little bit on that, but leave it alone. So thanks so much.
No problem. Well, that's going to do it for us today. Once again, we want to shout out our sponsor, Annie Mae's Parlor. Visit anniemays.com for a full list of the events that are going on here in the next handful of weeks. And if you're stopping by Annie Mae's on a home football game weekend, please tell them that Cocaine Willie sent you. We do have our merch store up at cocainewillie.com where you can buy our Wildcat Country Let's Ride merch. And then we are also the K-State representative on the College Huddle, which the CGA Tour is a proud member of, as well as us. The College Huddle is the largest community of fan-driven content in the nation. You can check them out at collegehuddle.com, thecollegehuddle.com, and follow them on social media at the College Huddle. And then last but not least, you can follow our show at Cocaine Willie on YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, Blue Sky, everywhere. Or you can follow us individually. I am at Matt Marchesini. Chef is at Chef Andre Napier. And again, sad that Bob couldn't make it, but Bob is at Bob Trollsby. Chef.
Cocaine's a hell of a drug, baby.
We're all coke and no joke. Wildcat Country. Let's
freaking rock, dude.
And go Pokes!
And go Pokes. No.
And what was that Utah guy doing?